Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Gitsky. We'll begin with breaking news. A car was hit by a train in East Bakersfield near the corner of Fairfax Road and Edison Highway. That car flipped on its roof in front of the train. The California Highway Patrol website says it happened just before 11 o'clock this morning. It's unclear what led up to that crash, and we will bring you more information as soon as we get it. Well, the battle continues this afternoon as the Stagecoach fire continues to burn in the mountains east of Bakersfield. The threat of this fire is not over as firefighters continue to fight to save homes and lives. So far, 2 homes have been destroyed and nearly 300 others are threatened. It broke out Monday afternoon and has only grown. This is the biggest fire in Kern County so far this year, and it looks like it will be a while before firefighters get the upper hand. The blaze has ripped through Kern's eastern mountain region between Lake Isabella and Tehachapi, burning more than 4,100 acres and 2 homes in its path. That's nearly 6.5 square miles. Right now, more than 250 firefighters are on the front lines trying to keep the flames from reaching more structures. They're unleashing an assault on the flames from the ground and sky. Now, at this time, that fire is 10% contained. 17 News caught up with one local resident who says he spent Monday night waiting to see if the flames would engulf his property.
This is where I grew up. This is home. I spent my night on my golf cart up there watching everything, watching the flames come over the mountains.
The fire department has recommended evacuations for people living in communities along Caliente Bodfish roads. So far, the Kern County Fire Department recommended evacuations for people living in those communities. Those evacuations are still active. KCFD says people living off Paiute Meadows Road or north of Walker Basin Road should evacuate. People living off Indian Oaks Road were given a precautionary evacuation notice. And the Red Cross was using the old Kmart parking lot in Tehachapi to help evacuees find temporary homes. But late Tuesday, it announced all assistance will now be done virtually. Normally during disasters, the Red Cross keeps everyone in one large shelter. But because of COVID-19, things are different this time around.
Rather than have a large shelter like we've had in the past, we get individual hotel rooms for them if they're available, and they were available. And we place the families in those hotel rooms. If they have any medical needs, we do have a nurse that's on call.
Public information officer said the Red Cross has helped 7 families so far. Now, if you need assistance, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS. And many people evacuating have animals with them that need their help too. So Kern County Animal Services has opened up a temporary shelter to house evacuated pets in the affected areas. It's located at 126 South Snyder Avenue in Tehachapi. That's the Tehachapi Education Center at the corner of Snyder and Tehachapi Boulevard. Well, new at noon, 2 men are dead after a shooting in central Bakersfield, 10th and M Streets. That's just near the California Avenue Senior Housing Complex. BPD says 2 men were shot and found in the streets suffering from gunshot wounds. One of those men were pronounced dead at the scene. The other was taken to Kern Medical Center where he later died. The identities of the 2 victims will be announced at a later time. Now, if you have any information regarding this case, call BPD at 327-7111. Now to an update on a DUI checkpoint from last night. BPD says the checkpoint was in effect from 6 p.m. to midnight. During that time, officers stopped more than 600 cars. 2 drivers were forced to take sobriety tests, but did pass and were allowed to go. Officers cited 33 people for driving without a license. 1 stolen car was recovered during the checkpoint, and that driver was arrested. 1 more person was arrested for an outstanding felony warrant. BPD routinely holds DUI checkpoints in town, and this serves as a reminder not to drink and drive. If you see someone you think might be driving impaired, call 911 immediately. Well, 1 person seriously hurt after being hit by a car late last night. According to California Highway Patrol, it happened on East California Avenue, west of Chamberlain Avenue. The pedestrian was taken to the hospital. According to CHP, the driver was heading east when the pedestrian ran directly in front of his car. The driver told police he was unable to stop in time and hit the person. It does not appear the driver was under the influence. This is still an ongoing investigation. And we have an update on a local missing teen. According to 15-year-old Lexi Knight's family, she has been found safe. Now, she went missing last Thursday, July 30th, on Old Town Road near Allen Road in the Rosedale area. KCSO says Knight has ran away from home several times. Again, her family says she has been found safe. Now to the latest on the coronavirus here in Kern County. One more Kern County resident has died from COVID-19. 152 people have lost their life since the beginning of this pandemic. Public Health also confirmed 205 new cases today. We've now had over 21,000 positive cases since March. Roughly 3/4 of Kern's cases are considered active at this time. 258 people are in the hospital and receiving treatment for the virus. More than 15,000 residents are recovering at home. Kern Public Health has reported that the state is experiencing a lag in COVID-19 case reporting. That means the cases being reported may be underwhelmingly reported due to that lag. Public Health says this does not affect the number of people who have died or the number recovering. Those numbers are reported separately. The state says they are working to fix this problem. Returning now to that breaking news in East Bakersfield. Train crash near the corner of Fairfax Road and Edison Highway. CHP now confirms one man was killed and a woman was hurt after their car was hit by a train just before 11 o'clock this morning. CHP says the car was trying to pass traffic when the driver lost control, veered across traffic lanes, and flipped over onto the railroad tracks just as the train was coming. CHP says speed does appear to be a factor. The woman was taken to the hospital with major injuries. Well, we are continuing to track that warm weather we have seen. Let's send things back over to Kevin Schreck.
We've been watching the conditions up at the Stagecoach fire, and that fire continues to burn, little containment. And as we go throughout today, we'll be watching the winds with this fire as well. Temperature right around 83 degrees today, relative humidity between 25 and 30%. And we're looking at the winds out of the west, 15 to 20, where we could see some wind gusts right around 30 miles per hour. So a little update on that. In terms of the skies, we continue to see smoke around the area, and we will continue to see that smoky haze as this fire continues to burn. Now, our average high this time of year, 97 degrees. We will be below that today. The record on this date set back in 1998 when we hit 110 degrees. They can keep that, and your sunset tonight will be at 7:55. Not much to show you on the satellite and radar. Along the coastal areas, a little bit of cloud cover for today. Inland areas remain clear. You can see the wind arrows there showing you the rotation of that trough. You can see these arrows from west to east. The low is over Northern California, and so that will help us in terms of our temperatures. 83 in Sacramento, 93 in Fresno today, lower 70 south into LA and San Diego, where we still find the heat. Vegas at 105 and 110 out of Phoenix. And we're kind of squeezed in between some ridges. So we have a ridge of high pressure out here in the Pacific, one over Mexico and one over the Four Corners region nudging into Texas. And then we've got the trough that we've been talking about. That is going to usher in that cooler air into California, and it's going to hang on a little bit here for the next few days. I don't see a major warm up because these ridges are actually keeping this low from really progressing anywhere, this trough progressing, and then we'll see a few weaker impulses along with that. So the beaches, that's where we will see the cloud cover today. We're looking at temperatures in the mid 60s and northwest wind 15 to 20. And here's a look at our air quality. In just a sec, we'll get to that. Want to show you our headlines, though. Heat wave number 5 again has come to an end. Yay! 29 triple-digit days this season and upper 80s. You'll see on the extended forecast for tomorrow, but the fire danger still extreme into our mountains. Let's take a look at the national weather and see the temperatures for today. 80 in Seattle, 60s out of the Bay Area, and then you can see as we travel east, we warm things up. Denver hot today, 91, and then up into the northeast, we're looking at 80s. New York at 88. Here's a look at our air quality today. Moderate with a AQI at 57, pollen high at 7.8, and our UV index still high as well. Here's a look at the temperatures. A northwest wind 5 to 10 today, 94 in Bakersfield, 93 in Delano, 94 out in Buttonwillow. For the mountains in the Kern River Valley, could see wind gusts near 40 miles per hour, 82 in Frazier Park, along with Tehachapi. And then for the Kern River Valley, upper 80s, lower 90s, 89 in Weldon. Kernville, 91. And then out in the desert, sunny skies, a west wind 20 to 30 with some isolated gusts near 60 miles per hour. A high of 93 in Mojave, 101 in Ridgecrest. Here's a look at the extended forecast for you. We will be in the upper 80s tomorrow. 90s return on Friday and near 100 again as we approach the end of the weekend. As we take a look at the mountain forecast, also a change in the weather for 70s tomorrow. Then we'll start to warm things up a little bit as we progress into the weekend. For the Kern Valley forecast, 87 tomorrow, lower 90s on Friday, upper 90s by Sunday and Monday. Nicole, we'll send it back over to you.
Bakersfield City School District has pushed their start date back. The first day of learning will now begin August 17th instead of August 12th. That was approved during last night's Board of Trustees meeting. Last month, the board decided that they would vote for the distance learning at least through the end of the first semester. BCSD said they are working to bridge the digital divide. Any incoming TK through 8th grade students will receive a Chromebook if they don't already have a device. Also, children will receive a hotspot to help them with internet connectivity. BCSD says they want to make sure there is no reason students cannot engage in daily instruction. Now, starting August 10th, parents will be able to pick up their child's materials. BCSD says they are working closely with parents to make sure children are prepared for the upcoming school year, no matter the circumstances. Now, the 2021 school year will run until June 1st. As college campuses prepare to reopen, a new study suggests they should frequently screen students for COVID-19. Researchers found that testing students every 2 days, even with a low-quality test, could keep infections at a more controllable number compared to testing weekly with a higher quality test. The study, published in the journal Gamma Network Open, assembled the data using a hypothetical cohort of 5,000 students, 10 of which had the virus. Researchers found that if universities had indoor mask mandates and strict hand-washing policies, less frequent testing could be adequate. Some doctors are saying colleges are responsible for ensuring student safety, but students will also need to comply with these policies if they want to mitigate the spread of coronavirus. Another thing that has been disrupted for children because of the pandemic, sports. We now have a look at how youth sports may play out or not during the pandemic. The California Department of Public Health released new guidelines for sports and PE programs. The guidelines say they can only work if participants stay at least 6 feet apart from each other. Because Kern County is on the state's watch list, only outdoor youth sports are allowed. Any sports or activities that need close contact or draw large crowds, like tournaments and competitions, are not allowed. And you can find that full list of guidelines on our website, kget.com.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.